Coming up with a great concept is usually the fast part. The friction starts when you try to move that idea across your screens. You export a stem from Ableton, format a mesh in Blender, and wrangle it into Premiere. Every time you cross a software boundary, you lose momentum to format translations and manual file restructuring. Anthropic recently introduced a structural bypass for this problem, a set of Model Context Protocol, or MCP, connectors for Claude. Look at this hub-and-spoke diagram. Instead of Claude sitting in a detached browser window, it acts as a central node. It hooks directly into the APIs of your creative software, allowing it to read the official documentation and control the interfaces from the inside. Which brings us to the practical question. Does wiring an AI into your specific software stack actually eliminate manual labor, or is the technical setup going to create a bigger headache? To make this work, you have to approach the work differently. You step back from being the manual executor of every asset and start acting as the technical engineer of your own pipeline. Let's look at the conceptualization phase first, using the new Claude Design and SketchUp connectors. Describe a room layout in plain language, and the software instantly snaps together a 3D base mesh, generating visual options based on your feedback. You are trading the absolute control of a blank canvas for the velocity of having a fully formed starting point generated in seconds. Your role shifts here. Instead of building the foundation vertex by vertex, you spend your time editing and refining the assets the AI generated. If you need granular, day-one creative control, this approach will frustrate you. But if your priority is high-volume pitching and rapid visualization, this workflow delivers. Once you move into mid-production, momentum typically stalls out in a swamp of multi-step busywork. The Affinity connector targets this by automating repetitive tasks. Claude can quickly batch adjust images, rename complex layer stacks, and execute bulk file exports. Over in Blender, you can use simple text inputs to execute complex commands, like analyzing a scene to debug it, or batch applying a specific modifier across dozens of separate objects simultaneously. Manual execution is a continuous grind. AI automation requires a heavy setup block, then a tiny execution sliver. This setup expands into strict file naming and directory prerequisites. Feed messy files in, and the execution block disappears. The process fails. Automating production tasks will not fix messy habits. You only get the speed benefits if you take the time to standardize your input data first. For needs that go completely beyond out-of-the-box features, there is Claude Code. Build a custom digital shader, script a procedural animation, or generate parametric models, producing documented code you can use. By leveraging the official Blender Python API connector, a designer with zero coding background can suddenly execute tasks that typically require a dedicated technical artist. That immediate technical empowerment is highly appealing. But software ecosystems are not static, and host applications constantly update. This split screen outlines the real trade-off. Generating the code is easy. Eventually, you must learn the underlying logic to debug and maintain code when host software updates. You remove the initial barrier to entry for custom tools, but you are signing up for a heavy, long-term commitment to code maintenance. The most ambitious application of these connectors is using Claude as a central format translator to actively bridge disparate tools. You can pull a royalty-free sample from Splice, route it into Ableton, and sync the output across Premiere and Blender, moving assets without manual handoffs. This even extends to live environments. Visual artists can use natural language to control Resolume Arena and Wire, managing AV production in real time. But building a multi-application pipeline governed by a single AI connector introduces a systemic risk. Look at this flowchart. You're creating a high dependency on Anthropic's ecosystem. If that central MCP connector breaks, updates, or goes offline mid-project, the data flow to your peripheral tools immediately stops. Eliminating manual handoffs across your pipeline saves hours of production time, but it bakes a critical single point of failure right into the center of your project. To figure out where you should actually deploy these tools, let's look at this decision matrix and map these workflows to specific bottlenecks. Our first column is the ideator, a concept artist or creative director focused heavily on rapid prototyping and pitching. For this group, we recommend Claude Design and the SketchUp connector. Ultimately, it optimizes for high pitch volume, but is a poor fit if you need exact final pixel precision right away. Next is the optimizer, a multidisciplinary generalist or solo creator juggling design, 3D, and audio simultaneously. The integrations for Adobe, Ableton, and Resolume offer this user the cross-platform asset syncing and real-time control they need. But keep in mind, this only functions if you fully commit to rigorous initial library setup and data standardization. Our final column is the tech artist, an advanced user or pipeline director managing heavy scenes and complex data structures. The Blender Python API and Claude code are the best fit here, granting you massive leverage for automated scene debugging and custom tool creation. Ultimately, Claude's integration cannot give a professional better artistic taste. It only provides operational leverage. With tools that finally talk to each other, the role of a creator expands from executing the art to architecting the systems that produce it.